whole lot of other things. So we're really grateful to have you here with us this evening. And in case this is the first time you're joining us, I'm Coco Sato, one of the co-founders of Startup Lady, and this is Startup Lady Live. Startup Lady is bringing gender equality to the startup community, a safe space and community for women and non-binary individuals to find, start, and grow their own businesses with inspiration, education, and support. And just to inform you a little bit about these lives, we bring to you conversations with our startup network. Every conversation, we aim to touch on inner inspiration, personal growth, and lessons learned. So even if you're not starting a business anytime soon, you'll find a lot to enjoy. And of course, if you have any questions, please make sure to chat it to us below. Our amazing team is checking the Facebook Live for any questions for our guests. So we will do our best to make sure to cover them. And now, this evening, we have a special guest, Rui Nagamori, who is on our board of directors and co-founder and CEO of Carry On Inc. After 10 years cycling through events operations, public relations, and other roles, Rui came to co-found Carry On Inc. in 2013, a hassle-free sharing platform for gently worn children's clothing. Through that journey, she learned the importance of developing your personal brand. And before we start, as always, I want to give a warm shout out and thank you to all our lovely supporters. Don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page and join our free membership because we have a lot more to offer and this is just a sneak peek. So, Rui, thank you for being with us this evening to talk about curating your brand.
Hi, Coco.
Hi.
Am I already on?
Yes, you are. You are.
Yay.
So I want to ask you, what is your definition of a personal brand? What does this mean to you?
Our personal brand, that means telling your own story, or sometimes I would rephrase your personal brand as your self-confidence. Because as long as you have confidence in yourself, your inner self will be appear with your confidence through your inside.
So do you feel like your brand, it grows with your self-confidence? Like which one came first for you?
It's the same thing for me. Self-confidence is in me and it grows with me, and that's the personal brand for you. Your self-confidence is. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but like, what if I'm not that confident? Does that mean like I don't have a personal brand?
No, you do, but you are just not comfortable with saying that you have self-confidence with it. Everybody has, but it is very hard for everyone to say that I have very self-confidence. Don't you think so? Everybody has, but I believe that it's only, maybe it's too aggressive or sometimes may sound too strong for somebody else to say that I'm very confident, especially in Japan, I think.
So yeah, I agree that there is a difference in culture and the way people view confidence would be different. So at what point in your life did you find your self-confidence? Or were you just born with it? Like
no. Nobody was, well, it's been very difficult for me too to have self-confidence or to say that I have self-confidence with me. It's been very difficult for me too for a long time. And let me talk a little bit about my personal story. I used to be an actress before. Surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Because I love drama very much. And I did theaters.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And during my theater days, it was very traditional, old styled Japanese theater company. And I was a member of that. And you know, Coco, you met me actually. So you know that I'm very tall. And let me say that I was too tall for them as a typical Japanese woman to be on stage as an actress. So they kept teasing me with my appearance. Sometimes they called me, you look like an alien. You look like too well, not Japanesey. And I didn't like my appearance at all. And I wanted to be shorter and prettier as a typical Japanese girl. And sometimes I tried to do so. I tried to wear more, well, girlish way, I say. You may wear with frills, ribbons in pink or something like that. I tried to do that, but it didn't suit me at all. And it wasn't me. I was totally less self-confidence. So it's been a difficult thing for me too. Well, but somehow I noticed that it was my choice to accept others' opinion about my appearance. Even though they talk to me that I do not like, it was my choice, me, to accept it or not, and I chose to accept their opinion about my appearance. So it doesn't matter what the others say to you. The only thing that matters is to choose it or not. And the decision, all the decision is up to you, up to me. Somehow notice that.
So, what made you notice that?
Oh, many things. Maybe not only one thing. Not only one thing, but maybe many things affected me, like my friends, my family, and my mentors. So maybe I would say that it is always very important to have good other friends or companion around you to talk about if you have some trouble, some kind of, well, what do you say, nayami? Yeah,
Yeah, some concerns.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But
Mhm.
sometimes, once in a while, there's moments in your life when you feel like you can't talk to anyone. Have you felt like that before?
Oh, luckily I didn't have any difficulty to find friends. How about you, Coco? Did you feel like that before?
I think there's been moments in my life where there's certain things that I feel that I can't really talk to
Yeah.
anyone about.
Uh-huh.
And then once in a while, I meet people and I have the opportunity to share because they're willing to
Yeah,
listen.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is the most amazing feeling. Because
yeah.
I think that there's so much chatter, there's so much going on in the world today that we're so busy with everything else
Yes,
that
yes,
sometimes I think it's hard to find someone that's willing and able to just stay quiet and listen to you and listen to what you have to say and just try to understand you.
Yeah, but thanks to SNS, all the networks, we can connect to somebody in with far distance.
That's true. That's very true. And that's how we're here today, right?
Oh yeah. Yes, we are.
Yeah, but like the thing is like SNS,
Mhm,
I agree. I think SNS is very important and it's one of the ways that people are really focusing on kind of curating their personal brand.
mhm.
So how do you go about that? What are the first steps that you would take to kind of establish your brand? What if you don't know what to do or who you are or how to represent yourself? Do you have any advice on that?
Oh yes, to have a personal brand. You
Hmm.
mean?
So let's say right now,
Mhm,
if I were to go online and be like, okay, I'm gonna start building my personal brand,
mhm.
what would you suggest that I do?
Okay, so I suggest you to do your inventory.
Inventory.
Yeah.
Okay. You're
Oh,
gonna have to elaborate a little bit more.
yeah. What do you really want and why you, the reason why you want it, and what do you really want to do in through your life. But it doesn't have to be only one thing, and you can change it anytime you like. Because what you really want to do through your life is not only one thing. So when many people talk about this kind of topic, it is said that the life through dream should be only one thing, but it's changeable. So I suggest you to do look deeply into yourself right now, who you are right now. That I mean by inventory.
Hmm. So what if I look inside myself and there's just like a chaos of I want to do this and I want to do that. And
Yeah.
what do I do in that case?
Yeah, and try to verbalize it. It is very helpful. I sometimes write down on my notebooks what
Okay.
I want to do.
Hmm. So then how do I narrow it down? Because I know I might be the opposite to some people, but then, where there's so many things I want to do and there's only one underlying like
Mhm,
mission and vision for me overall in life.
mhm.
But what about for the people that don't know what to do in their life?
Oh, I thought the same thing. But the your dream does not have to be big thing. Your right through dream could be something like that. Well, let's say, for example, I just want to travel around the world or something like that.
Okay, so then basically start with something that you enjoy doing
Hmm.
would be
Yeah.
start writing it down
Hmm.
and then what would be some next steps I could do to build my personal brand when I'm still not sure what I want to do?
You can share your idea to others.
Ah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Hmm.
On SNS.
On SNS, on online, and you can share your ideas through, well, Facebook, either Instagram, Twitter, whatever that makes your brand, because that's your story. That that's your story comes from your inside.
So one thing I've always wondered about is what if there's so many other people that are pursuing the same thing or that are trying to do the same thing? How do you differentiate yourself between like personal brand Coco and personal brand Rui? Like, how do you really differentiate yourself in that situation?
I think that will be very difficult to differentiate if you differentiate intentionally. It comes naturally, I think.
That makes sense because there's nobody else out there like ourselves, right?
Yeah, nobody else is the same, exactly the same like you or me. So it comes naturally. We are all differentiated.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I guess it's kind of like we just have to try and think, verbalize, implement it somehow,
Mhm,
share
mhm,
it with the world, and
mhm.
kind of, get into the practice of sharing who we are and what we want to do and
Yeah, yeah,
see what kind of people we connect with.
yeah. So show what you think and show who you are. Well, let me say that. Well, it is very useful to choose 3 adjectives that describes you.
3 adjectives.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
What do you say, for example?
I'm like, oh God. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Let me say about you. You were intelligent. You were so kind and smiley. Just things like that.
Well, that's a nice way to start it off,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Hmm. I will try and do that later. But
Uh-huh.
I'm curious, like how did you go from being a stage actress who was having insecurities maybe about not fitting that cookie cutter version of what a Japanese
Oh
woman.
yeah.
How did you go from that to being who you are today? Like, how did you kind of develop your personal brand? Because it is quite a big leap. It's
Yes.
completely different.
Yeah. Let me think about that. It was sad for me to leave theater world because I loved theater very much. But I understood that, well, it was not my box to fit in. So sometimes what you really like to do is not good for you to do as a work. So have you heard that it is very common said that do what you love as
Yeah,
a job?
I've heard of it,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of on the same page as you because,
Yeah.
yeah, like I can give you an example about myself. So,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and I think everyone knows, but I really love dance. Like, I really,
Oh,
really
do you?
enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
And in the past, there was a time when I wanted to do dance therapy as a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, why not? Like, I love helping people and I love dance. Why not
Yeah. Yeah.
combine
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
and make that my job? But then I realized that if I take my passion and my love for dance
Mm-hmm.
and turn it into a job,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be fun anymore and I'm not going to enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have other things that I love. I was like, I love helping people. Maybe that should be my focus for my job. And dance I'll just do selfishly for myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of understand what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the same thing. So it is tough to realize that what you love and what you are good at are different sometimes. So if you do what you love as work, it's not gonna be fun anymore, as you just said. So yeah, I understood that what I love and what I'm good at is different. Just that. That's it.
And then after theater, so you made that you kind of realized that for yourself.
Hmm.
What did you do next?
I did bilingual MC.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Have I told you this before?
I think so. You
Yeah, yeah.
you touched on this briefly.
Yes. Yeah, I was emceeing for international, well, conferences, congresses, or press release events of large corporations, and I was emceeing world. And in that world, everybody there told me that I looked good on stage as an MC because I'm tall. That was really eye-opening, seriously.
That's great. No, that's
Yeah.
lovely to hear. You know, the one thing that made you feel so insecure previously is
Yes.
working to your advantage.
Yeah. So that the whole world changed, and sometimes it's you do not have to stick with what you tried to do. You can change it easily anytime. If you notice that you choose the wrong way, you can rush back to the point. You can rush back and change your way.
So that means you were doing emceeing for some time, and you feel like this was like a big turning point in your self-confidence?
Yeah, it was. It was the first big turning point for me.
And then what happened? You felt good about this position. What made you take the next leap?
Maybe the next leap I say when I found my company, which is 7 years ago.
Okay, so you went from MC to like co-founding your company.
Yeah.
Okay, so where, like, how do you go from like being an actress,
Yes.
and then going to become an MC?
See,
I
yeah,
kind of understand that.
yeah,
But then going from there to kind of starting your own business, which
yeah.
is not even related to acting or like public speaking. How did that happen?
Well, before founding my company in 2013, I got married and I gave birth to my boy in 2010. And then I got divorced after 3 years. And then I wanted to have something to do to raise my boy. And during that age, I met my co-founder, and he's a husband to my friend. And me and my friend were together at emceeing. That's why
Okay.
I met her. And my friend from MC World introduced her husband as a co-founder because her husband has an idea about building a platform sharing children's clothing, but he needed to find a partner who is familiar with children's clothes, and he founded me. That's why I founded my company with my co-founder.
Yeah, I have been quite curious how that came about.
Really?
That's for another time. But
Yeah.
so this co-founder of yours, him
Uh-huh.
and his wife, your friend,
Yes.
didn't have children?
No.
I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that
So
makes
they had
sense,
an
doesn't it?
idea,
Yeah.
and then okay, and then you kind of complemented this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, why not? I would just take the next challenge.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Did
Yeah.
you ever doubt yourself? Like
Because
starting
I had nothing to lose. So I just kept moving forward.
wow.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know some people around me that are, you know, in a similar situation,
Uh-huh.
and I hope the best for them. And
Yeah.
it is difficult. I can imagine like it's already hard just taking care of myself. I can't even imagine having to take care of dependents or
Yeah.
same.
But the rule is really simple. Just do it or not to do it, isn't it?
That's true, but the difficulty is getting to that point and really accepting it. Because
Mm-hmm.
in the end, honestly, I feel like we all know what we need to do and the areas in which we're lacking.
Yeah.
Problem is actually getting ourselves up and running and doing all the things that we know we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you actually when there's moments where you're just like just just don't want to do this. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just not good enough. I'm not smart enough. There's someone better than me.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation?
Leave all your stuff to someone else who is more better at that thing.
But honestly, there's always going to be someone better than us in every aspect. Where how do you define like what areas you hold on to and you focus on and you grow? And what are the things that you believe should be handled by other people? I think that's kind of the challenge to figure that out, that balance.
Yeah.
And what are some insecurities that we need to let go?
But that happens to everyone, don't you think so?
It does. It
Yeah.
does. I think it happens to, there's some people around me where they are just stunning in every way. And I believe
Yeah.
the image and, the image that is portrayed
Okay.
is very perfect. It's picture perfect, but it's very far from reality sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then in the end, it boils down to the fact that these people manage to really
Mm-hmm.
focus and build their personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that a lot of people would want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for example, how has your personal brand, I understand that, you've been building it your whole life up until
Mm-hmm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
but there must have been a point where, you've been building it and you started seeing changes in your life.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share something about some changes you noticed, or maybe relationships that you built that you wouldn't have had previously, or your old self wouldn't have believed possible now?
Ah, okay. Let's say that I just didn't stop trying new things. I kept trying tries and errors, lots of tries and errors that made me. And I didn't feel confused about doing lots of tries and errors. I don't know why, but what I believed was I had nothing to lose if I keep moving forward. It doesn't take away my life, it doesn't kill me. If I keep moving forward, nothing affects me as a catastrophe. Does it make sense to you?
It does. And I actually, there's a comment from Facebook from Michael. This person mentions, don't practice self rejection. It
Yeah,
breeds jealousy, anger,
yeah.
hatred. Practice self acceptance. It
Hmm.
sounds like that's kind of what you were
Hmm.
really trying to do. Yeah, that's true. Trial and error. I mean, I have to say that I am who I am today because I tried, because
Yeah,
I failed, because I made
yeah.
mistakes.
And I would say that aging might help.
Huh?
Aging might help. So getting older is no bad thing at all.
Yeah, it's like wine, right? I mean, I don't really
A
like wine,
lot.
but
Yeah,
it's supposed to get better as you
yeah.
age. So.
You experience a lot and you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I feel much better as getting older. And when I get over 40s, I felt really well released from everything. So I always say that 30s for women is struggling age because you will face lots of problems, lots of walls or ceilings to make you concerned about. So during my 30s, it was dark age for me too. So if you get through the dark age, everything gonna be fine.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then I just have to wait until I get to my 40s and life will not be so hard on me anymore.
No, no. So just do what you believe and keep moving forward, learn and experience a lot, and make as much errors as possible.
Oh, yeah. My team
Yeah.
deals with my errors every day. I'm always like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
Let
no,
me improve. Let me learn. I'll try. I'll be
yeah.
better next time. That's what I tell them every single time.
But
But I'm
those,
very lucky. I have a great team. So,
yeah, you do. And those kind of things will grow your self-confidence and your story. That makes your story.
yeah. And we actually have a question from Rachel on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
She's asking, how do you find new things to try since you've been mentioning we have to try new things?
Yeah. Oh, you have many choices every day, don't you? So
I
just,
hope so.
yeah. Oh, and I have my own business right now. So every day I have to think about how I can grow my business. So, and try many things, but some of them might fail and some of them might success. So I made lots of challenge through my business nowadays. But before that, I did many things to make, oh, actually, I say to make money.
Well, in the end, we do need to make money. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that is definitely a challenge for
Yeah, yeah,
me and
yeah.
everyone else, for
And
sure.
as long as you have money, you can choose many things. Money is important, isn't it?
So, how would you give advice to someone who doesn't have money, who wants to try new things?
Who doesn't have money?
Yes, I'm just trying to be difficult, but
Okay.
like, what if you want to try new things, but you don't really have the money at this time to, spend on things? How can they
Uh,
challenge themselves to do something?
you mean not enough money to invest on yourself?
Yes, on additional things.
Oh, you can do part-time jobs and you can learn during your pastime.
So maybe going online,
Yeah.
reading articles and watching videos, maybe taking
Yes, yes.
classes.
And I suggest that talk to as many people as possible because exchanging opinions and conversation with many friends is full of ideas and hints.
What if there is a language and cultural barrier? I'm not gonna
Ah,
lie, that does happen to me. I mean, I'd have to say, for me, it's not about just culture and language. It's also like my personality and my introversion. But sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult to meet people to actually want to be able to kind of share certain things and talk with them. Do you have any advice on that?
You mean offline?
Offline, online, anywhere. It's difficult to find people maybe to communicate with.
Yeah, it is sometimes. But if you see hundreds of people, maybe you have chance to see one friend out of 100. So if you don't find that one out of 100, you see 200 people. You might have chance to see one or two friends out of 200 at least.
Hmm. So when I meet like this one of 200, is that the moment where I can kind of start focusing on like building my personal brand narrative?
Oh, that's a good question. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm trying to learn how to build my personal brand because I'm not too sure what that's all about. I'm a very private person, so I don't like sharing a lot like publicly. I personally don't
Yeah,
post a lot on SNS except when it's,
yeah,
for a cause or trying to support like
yeah.
my association. But
Yeah, that's your brand too.
so
That
what's
you're
the
a
difference?
private person.
What's
That's your
the
brand.
difference between like my personal brand, which is my association, Startup Lady, compared to my personal brand as Coco, a person?
Oh, Coco as a person and your association Startup Lady. You are founder of Startup Lady Light. So as a founder, you have to show your association look attractive. And what makes the association look attractive is the personality of founders. Who is doing that and who are they? Because that's, I would say that only differentiation from other association like in
Hmm. Yeah.
same field. Yeah. So being private person or open person is doesn't matter. The only thing matters is who is operating the association.
Okay.
Mm.
So in the end, like a personal brand is really focused on the people and their personalities.
Mhm.
How can you build kind of like, how do you share better your story? And what about for the people out there that may not have a particular business, but they want to build their own personal brand?
Mhm. Build mm, some people are not uh, good at I would say, let me think about, if someone has her own business, it's gonna be very important for that person to build the brand, to sell her service or product to others. Because why others choose to buy or use her service or product? even though there are too many choices in this world right now.
That's true. But what I'm very curious to learn more about is what about for the people out there that don't have a business? I know that I've noticed, like, when I go on Facebook, I see
Yeah.
a few friends that I know they haven't really started a business, but
Uh-huh.
I can definitely see that they're very focused on building their personal brand, kind of making their name out there. I don't know what their purpose is, but people are doing that.
Oh, oh, they do not want to build their own business, even though they like to make their own personal brand.
Yes. So I'm because, like, for example, I see influencers, for example, as
Okay.
people who are building a personal brand, but they're not technically a business.
Some influence that makes money somehow.
That's some. Those are the people
Yeah.
that have gotten to that point. But I see that a lot of my friends are starting to, post a lot, and it's clear that they're probably trying to build towards something.
See. Uh, so
Like, can you maybe give like tips on how to start building this personality, which is your personal brand? Like, what are some key points that you focus on when you are putting together content? When it's perhaps not about carry on, what are some key things that you take into consideration? So I would say that
mhm,
I'm just going to speak for Startup Lady just because it's
mhm, yeah,
easier for me. But for example, like if I'm creating something for Startup Ladies, so for example, I updated my little Zoom banner here. I was
yeah,
thinking like, okay, I have to stay on brand too. So to stay on brand, I was like, oh, let me go find something that we already using to kind of talk about our startup challenge that we started recently. It's
yeah,
a 60-day startup challenge. But at the same time, I was also considering like, okay, it has to stay on brand. And what staying on brand to Startup Lady means
mhm,
being very visually exciting and passionate and
yeah, yeah,
stunning, like, but at the same time it's also very, we want to keep it more simplistic compared to maybe certain Japanese brands. And we
oh,
kind of like, I was also very mindful, like, okay, we have certain brand colors and we use these colors because it has good contrast,
yeah,
also very easy for people to read the information that I provide, for example, or
yeah,
like here.
yeah.
Do you have any advice for people that want to maybe create or post content out there
Of their product, you
of
mean,
of them as a person?
as a person,
Yes, because it's about your personal brand.
yeah. What you choose to post on your SNS make your appearance and your impression to the world. So what you choose naturally is you, I say. That's your brand. Why you choose that color? Because you liked it, even though you thought that it has good contrast, but you chose it, and it comes from your choice.
I agree with that, but I'm gonna say there are people who have preferences to something that might not be commonly agreed upon as visually pleasing. What do you do in that case?
I oh, you are good, really good at making questions, Coco.
That's why I'm here. If we don't get questions from the crowd, then I am just gonna ask you random things. You know, my mind is like,
Actually, I haven't found any difficulties about that thing. So I think I did those kind of things. I made decision to those kind of things very naturally. I didn't realize that there might be some people who has concerns.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Well, well, our guest is a natural, so let's see if I can ask more
yeah.
difficult questions. Okay. So,
But uh, if some of you of the audience tonight have some of the audience tonight who has that kind of difficulties or concerns, please contact me and we can do deep talk.
wow, okay, they're going to be
Yeah,
very lucky to chat with you directly.
yeah, I'll be very happy to do those kind of conversations.
So, I have a question. So, this is
Yeah.
something that I mean, we might have talked about it like in our, I don't know, private conversations, but I'm gonna ask again because I think it's very valuable.
Yeah.
So, when building your personal brand, regardless of as a person or as a business,
Mm-hmm.
are you mindful of the others that are out there? So, for example, what I mean is,
Mm-hmm.
do you research similar accounts? Are there certain competitors that you keep in mind?
I do research about the competitors.
Okay, how often? Like, is that a habit? Is that something you do daily? Can you share a little bit more about that?
I do research when I start something new to start. When I founded my company and when I did new, well, marketing thing, and when I did uh, first release, or when we did advertisement for the first time, I did lots of research and to the competitors.
So
But as a
how do
person,
you do that? So how do you do research on like
I
when you have a new project or when you are looking for competitors?
mean,
How do you do that here? Because I'm sure everyone has their own way of doing that.
mainly on the internet, and sometimes I used tools, research tools.
Can you
I pay for that.
like okay.
Yeah.
So you use research tools that you pay for? Do you go through people's accounts? Do you
Mm-hmm.
search hashtags? Do you look through events? Like, can you give us examples of what you
Hashtags and the estimated customers personas account. And as long because my business is to customers, directly to customers, not to be, I mean, we do research on mainly on Instagram
Hmm,
because our target zone is main users of Instagram.
okay.
Hmm.
And I know that you're also focused on building your personal brand
Hmm.
as Rui.
Yeah,
So, as Rui,
yeah.
where do you focus on creating content for yourself? Not as the co founder of Carry Oning,
I see.
as you.
As me, as I think I'm not doing very well right now on my SNS account.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think with my SN? Okay. What do you think with my Instagram account, Coco? I need your opinion.
I haven't checked recently.
Okay.
I told you I'm not personally I'm not so much a consumer of
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
I just find that there's so much content out there, and I get very overwhelmed with the messages I get all the time. I can't keep up.
Uh-huh.
And for me, going to SNS for the pleasure of just, viewing content,
I
that's
see.
a luxury that I can't afford right now. So
Okay.
for me, when I go on SNS, it's because I have to work. I have to do something, or I have to post something, or I have to do this for something, for a cause, or for my job.
Yeah, for your association.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I personally don't have the time or the energy to consume
Yeah.
content. I know that it's important, and other than that, I spend more time like researching things that I need to know when I have to do something, if it's for my brand or my business or for like a new process I'm trying to implement.
Yeah, it's not always very important to do. SNS has lots of pros and cons, but if you're an entrepreneur and if you want to spread your idea or your word to the world, SNS will be helpful.
Yes. No,
But it's
I
not always
agree. I totally agree. I'm
yeah.
just in this weird spot where I'm trying to figure that out. Yeah,
Not always important.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
So, what are some things that you're hoping to achieve with your personal brand?
I'd like to achieve the uh, raising younger generation. I'd like to be an icon to younger generation. Younger girls, women girls to be more independent to risk their life. Because I did that way and I want to share my experience and what I learned, what my errors were to girls, especially to maybe students, because it is so sad for me that most of the university students who are very smart, university girl students, who are very smart and intelligent enough, tend to be housewives because it's easier to live. That, that's, that is common to Japanese university girls. And I'd like to change that situation. And I want be those girls to be more independent. I want them to pursue what they want to do through their lives. So that's why I want to. I can be an icon, and I can be well. Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it.
Advisor or mentor.
So, I mean, I know you're like a mentor to Startup Lady, and you're on our board as well, and you're doing Carry On Inc., and you're focusing on your personal brand. And your vision is, well, your mission is to help young women kind of feel more empowered.
Yeah.
Before we close tonight's session, what is like some advice you'd give them to kind of find self-confidence, to be who they want to be, and to challenge themselves to do something more if they want to do that?
Everything gonna help you. So please not give up. Keep moving forward, and then you will find that everything's gonna be all right.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like really sound advice. So
Really?
thank you so much, Ray. Thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Hope it helped a little bit to others, to the audience.
Yeah, I know we have a few people joining us live. And I know that we'll have a few more people watch later on.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I'd love to kind of start closing this session with quick recap of our best learnings from Rui Nagamori, COO and co-founder of Carry On Inc. Okay, let me see. So personal brand and self-confidence, they build each other up. So you have to, they kind of combine together
Mhm.
and one supports the other. That's one thing. Another thing, critical factor was we are the ones who decide whose opinions matter.
Mhm.
We don't have to listen to everyone that judges us because in the end, we're the only ones that can control ourselves. So you have to make those decisions by yourself and not rely on others and realize that what someone else tells you, that's their opinion. It does not make it reality. Another thing I believe Ray was mentioning to us was the personal brand starts with taking an inventory of ourselves. So I remember she said one of the things she mentioned was you can start by thinking about what you enjoy, what do you like, what do you want to do, and if you get stuck, maybe start with putting a list of 3 adjectives to describe who you are and how to maybe share that with other people. And another thing is you really want to practice telling your personal brand narratives. So that means, getting yourself out there, meeting people, talking to people, because you're going to learn different things and you'll also hear yourself speak. And that's important in itself because sometimes you need to verbalize your thoughts. And that's going to help you kind of better package who you are and your personal brand. And I think the last thing was we move forward when we say, why not? I have nothing to lose. And, it's really true because I personally think I like the quote or phrase. It's better to take the risk and regret. No, wait, what is it? No, it's better to take the risk than regret not having taken it because if you don't take the risk, you don't even have the opportunity to regret anything. And if you can't regret, then there's also means that's a missed opportunity for you to learn. So I guess these were some of the best learnings we had from Rui Nagamori this evening. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching the Startup Lady live. And if you learned anything valuable, if you enjoyed it, please let us know in the comments. And of course, any and all donations are also greatly appreciated. We are a volunteer-based association, and we are working hard to continue to bring value and support to the community during these times. Startup Lady is the same, so we're working very hard. Please show us, let us know that you enjoyed it or you learned something from this evening, or reach out to Rui. She's amazing. And yeah, we're always looking for new topics that would be valuable for everyone. So let us know if there's something that, would be interesting for us to cover.
Mhm.
And if you haven't already done so, please don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page and join our Facebook and Instagram communities. There you'll get a lot of like event invites and information. And on top of that, we recently launched our free membership, and you can get first access to special resources by joining. And with this free membership, we have recently started our 60-day startup challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we have quite a few people that are with us, and what happens is they have daily actions on which they have some kind of homework they need to do, and that's going to help you get your business idea growing. So, and to give you a little bit more idea about the startup challenge, which you can sign up for here, is there are daily educational tips to develop your idea into a full-fledged startup that's ready to be shared. Right now, our detailed material is vetted by Masa Tadagoro-san, who is the author of the best-selling startup book, Startup Science.
Yeah.
So yeah, please come check it out. And with this, with our tips and community of like-minded entrepreneurs, you'll also find the support and accountability to make it through the startup journey by being a part of this startup challenge. So I definitely would love you guys to come check us out and see what we're all about. Our team has worked super hard to kind of take the material and make it kind of more startup lady style. So hopefully you'll find it visually fun to look at as well as something that you can learn. And finally, as always, I just want to remind you of our upcoming events. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 16th, we have our Startup Lady Night. It will be online. It is a closed event on Zoom with my friend Chelsea Chen, who is the CEO and founder of Glotcher. So please come join us to hear her inspiring story of how no experience is ever wasted. So yeah, definitely check out the event page because it is a closed event. It is not live streaming the way we're doing right now. So please make sure to check it out. And so this is the most exciting part. The following week, next week, on Wednesday, September 23rd from 7:30, we will be doing another live streaming, but this time it will be in Japanese with one of our directors, I wonder who, Rui Nagamori, and she will actually be introducing our special guest, who is also another startup lady, board of director, Chika Tsunoda of Q Noir and Anytimes. So please make sure to tune in. And yeah, it will be our first Japanese Startup Lady Live. So stay tuned. It might be a little bit different, but of course, we want to make sure that it's fun and interesting and everything you guys want it to be. So make sure to comment or share your thoughts with us below. And yes, stay tuned. And yeah, thank you so much for spending your evening with Startup Lady. I'm Coco, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.